Hello everyone, today we will study the third section of Chapter 2. As we have talked about that the Qi monism theory, yin-yang theory, and five-element theory have all become the philosophical basis since they were introduced into the TCM theoretical system. As one of the elements of the Chinese culture, Chinese philosophy has greatly influenced the development of TCM. For today's class, we are going to see the five-element theory. The ancient Chinese people recognized that wood, fire, earth, metal, and water were the most necessary elements, and these were first known as the five matters. The five matters have been considered as basic substances to continue the universe, and they are also daily used by people. For example, water and fire are used for cooking. Metal and wood are used for cultivating. Earth gives birth to all things. Based on the five matters, the ancient philosopher abstracted the concept of five elements from the abstract original Qi of the universe. The five elements are used to describe the characteristics and the interrelationships of the five categories of matters and phenomena. They are not used to refer to the concrete and visible natural materials when all the elements are used as a specific five element. The theory resulted from the observations and studies of the natural world by the ancient Chinese people in the course of their lives and productive labor. After a long time of observations and studies of the five elements of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, the ancient philosopher developed the five-element theory. The five-element theory is an ancient philosophical thought which studied the connotations, characteristics, classification, and the relationships of generation and restriction of the five elements of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Through observation, the ancient people discovered the respective characteristics of the five elements, and the application of the theory is based on the characteristics of each element. Let's see the five elements one by one. With the developing and applying of five-element theory, ancient people recognized that everything in the universe might be respectively attributed to one of the five elements. For instance, wood has the nature of growing freely and unfolding, so anything that is similar to the characteristics is attributed to the category of wood. Fire has the nature of flaring up. Thereby, the things similar to the nature of fire are classified into the attribute of fire. Earth has the nature of giving birth to all things. Thus, those possess the nature of earth are attributed to earth. Metal has the nature of purifying and descending. Hence, those with the nature of metal can be attributed to metal category. Water has the nature of moistening and flowing downward. For this reason, the things that have moistening, downward movement, and coldness correspond to water. The methods people used to classify things or phenomena into the five-element system include direct method and indirect method. Let's take the five zone organs as an example to see how does the direct method work. The liver prefers to grow freely and dislike depression, so it is correspondent with wood. The heart pumps blood to warm the body, so it is correspondent with fire. The spleen is responsible for transforming and transporting cereal nutrients to all parts of the body, so it is correspondent with earth. The lung is marked by the functions of purification and descending, so it is correspondent with metal. The kidney is in charge of storing essence and governing water, so it is correspondent with water. Liver is attributed to wood by using the direct method. Other organs and tissues like gallbladder, eyes, tendon, tear, and fingernail, they all belong to the liver system according to the visceral manifestation knowledge. Therefore, all the organs and tissues we mentioned above attributed to the wood system. This method used here is indirect method. Among the 5 elements, there exist the relationships of generation and restriction. Generation means that one kind of things can promote, aid, or bring forth another. That is, wood generates fire, fire generates earth, earth generates metal, metal generates water, and water in turn generates wood. Each of the 5 elements contains the dual nature, being generated and generating. This relationship of the 5 elements is called the mother-child relationship. The element that generates is called the mother, while the element that is generated is called the child. Take wood as an example. Because wood produces fire, it is the mother of fire, but it is produced by water, so it is water's child. Restriction means bringing under control or restraint. The order of restriction goes as follows. Wood restricts earth, earth does water, water does fire, fire does metal, and metal in turn does wood. Any one of the 5 elements has 2 aspects, being restricted and restricting. For example, the element restricting wood is metal, and the element that is restricted by wood is earth. In TCM, the 5-element theory and the theoretical tool is used to explain different kinds of medical problems by analogizing and deducing their properties and interrelations. It also used to guide clinical diagnosis and treatment. About constructing 5 systems centered on 5 zang organs, just as we talked about, the liver belongs to wood system by using the direct method. The eyes, tendon, fingernails, and gallbladder are all closely related with liver, so all the tissues and the food organs we mentioned belong to the liver system, that is wood system. The 5-element theory is used to explain the interrelationships among 5 zang organs. Let's take liver as an example again. Wood generating fire correspondent with liver blood, nourishing heart, and so on. The 5-element theory is also used to describe the pathological changes of zang organs. Still, we take liver as an example. Based on the generation relationship, liver generates heart, so liver is the mother organ, and heart is the child organ. When the function of liver is disordered, can affect the function of heart. Liver as the child organ of kidney, the function of liver can be affected by the disorder of kidney. Based on the restriction relationship, liver restricts the spleen and be restricted by lung. So the disorder of liver can affect the function of spleen in an over-restriction manner, while affect the lung function in a count-restriction manner. For guiding the treatment in the generation order, it is needed to tonify the mother organ to treat deficiency if the mother organ affects child organ. However, it is needed to reduce the excess of child organ if disorder of child organ affects mother organ. In the restriction order, inhibiting excessiveness will be selected for treating the syndrome of over-restriction, while supporting weakness will be used for treating the deficiency of controlled organ. In summary, the 5 elements have been considered as basic substances to constitute the universe, and they are also indispensable for life. The five-element theory was introduced into TCM and was used to explain the physiological characteristics of five zang organs and construct physiological and pathological systems centered on five zang organs. That's all for today. See you next class.